not live. We are here Thursday night, live from Chicago. See Unpaid Nobodies.
Is it too late to restart?
No, it's
For
not.
better or for worse.
For better or for worse, this is where we are. How are we doing this week, gentlemen? We got a lot. This is a lot. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff to review. A lot of stuff that's very relevant to us. Another review, fourth in a row. Doing talking KingTrey's Southend project, which dropped last year, about 9 months ago. Would you say, right?
I think that's right. Let me just double check. The deluxe edition came out recently, within the last couple months this year, so that's why we're going back and we're going to cover. But yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, no, it was a fun listen for a relatively local artist, and yeah, so that's gonna be our review this week.
July 28th, 2023 was the first version.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, so how is everyone doing?
We're vibing. We're here. March Madness started today.
Yeah,
Another week.
It's time for all the craziness to go.
all right. Purvis, do you want to run down the news for the week? We got a lot. We got lineups to talk about. We have a whole suite of shit dropping.
Yeah, the year's finally starting to pick up as we enter the festival season. Things are just going to be popping off all the time. But to start us off, we're going to jump right into the albums. This is a very, very, very big weekend.
Dense week, yeah.
But Future and Metro Boomin will be dropping their first of two albums, well, rumored two albums. We Don't Trust You.
Yeah, huge.
Pretty big.
Huge. We'll be talking about this duo again today, but yeah, no, this is the biggest project dropping this week by a country mile.
Absolutely.
Does this mean you get shot twice?
Yeah.
I don't like you. Of all the puns you could have did, you opened up with that one.
Yeah.
It's right there. What do you want from me?
I hate
It's too easy. I see it. But no, yeah, I think they just dropped the track list earlier, maybe an hour or so ago. I believe there were 17 songs. The feature was not, or the feature inclusion was not there. But I'm excited for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Another big release coming out. Sir has returned. We have another TDE member. He is dropping heavy. I believe there's been 2 singles that came out since then, or as the rollout, I should say. 2 singles have came out for the rollout, and I'm super excited for this. I've been listening to Sir for a while, and he's high on my R&B list. So,
Yeah, no, I want to dive into this because I just want to stay abreast with this fucking crazy year that TDE is having. Seems like everyone on that label is dropping, so I just want to, just like you do with Griselda in 2022 and Good Music in 2018, you just want to stay abreast of the whole thing. So
exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. If it's going to be anything like the list that was leaked to the public, we're in for a lot.
yeah, we're in for a ton.
We also have Tyler dropping the self-titled.
Is that the girl who did Water?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good song.
I'm excited to hear the rest of her music. I don't have really been able to dive in too deeply, but she seems to have a great personality in terms of outside of music. Every time I see her on my internet or on my timeline or anything like that, it's all positivity.
Yeah.
Seems like a great person, so I'm happy for her. And then we have Matt Champion.
Yeah, this is huge. I'm very excited for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Brockhampton rep on my chest. I'm very, very excited for this. Yeah. He was one of the ones who I was like, okay, I think he could really break out, so I'm hoping he does.
Did you by chance see the music video? I think he dropped music. But I just found out about this today. It was interesting that the Brockhampton page itself on Instagram was promoting
Joba's. Yeah,
Joba's album coming out.
They promoted pretty much all the big spinoffs that have come out. It promoted Merlin Woods. It promoted Don McLennan's single. So yeah, and obviously Kevin Abstract's albums.
Yes.
So it does seem like they're just still using the Brockhampton social media presence to promote all their solo work, which I don't hate. I just think it's like neither here nor there.
They
might as well use it, right? Like,
yeah, you have all your fan base there, and they're the people that's really going to be checking into you. So easy way to reach out to them.
100%. And then let's talk about our skip for the week.
We have the biggest album of the year.
Yeah.
Jordan Lucas is dropping an album called "Not Now I'm Busy," which is essentially what I'm going to say every time I think about listening to this.
Isn't this right after? Wasn't it like only 6 months ago where he had a project and he decided not to put it out because of, I guess it was like critiques for early snippets that he dropped, and then also just his own kind of indecision, I guess. I don't know.
This is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it the same project? Do we know? Did he rework it at all?
I thought he completely scrapped it. Isn't that if you're talking about this one, if I recall correctly, this is the one where the fans themselves was like, we don't really like.
Yeah, people went on like social about it. And yeah, that was like what, like 3-4 months ago, maybe. I don't even remember at this point. But it's already March, so maybe it was earlier. But yeah, I'd be surprised. I'm curious if there's any carryover content. Not that we'll ever know, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Look, if it gets above a C, it's a win.
Yeah, no, it's Junior Lucas is just not great.
Hey, he's got one good feature. We'll leave it at that.
Good feature. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the one song. I like the song he did for Will Smith. And that's it. Like,
yeah.
I like his feature on "Lucky You." That's like the one thing.
I don't even know the song.
He does the chorus.
Think of the song.
He does the chorus on the Eminem song "Lucky You."
No, that sounds about white.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as bad as the rest of it. So.
I don't doubt it. All right.
Where are we setting this bar nowadays?
I'm gonna say, watch. We're gonna finally get you two into your Eminem eras. We're gonna start with Kamikaze and work our way backwards.
No, I've heard horror things.
No, we could do. Ooh, we could do some Eminem, but not that. That's
no, not that.
No.
Not that. We end at Recovery and work our way back from that.
Yeah.
In all honesty,
that's fine.
Recovery's overhated. Don't have me.
No, I agree with that. I actually agree with that. All right, let's run through the singles.
Then we're going into the singles. A lot of big singles as well. We have what seems to be a return of Large Sean.
Ooh, extra large Sean.
No, I'm very, very excited for this. He put out a little freestyle. He did a couple of promotion videos. He's fully posting again.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have our first leading single to which I'm assuming is an album this year, Precision. So I'm here for it.
And real quick, can I tell you both something really funny?
Really?
I was going through and looking at videos that came out this week, which is, we'll get to those later, but my YouTube was doing the like autoplay setting. I had it on the other monitor. I listened to like some of the things that came out this week, and then the video for Don't Play came on, the Travis Scott video.
Yeah.
Featuring Big Sean. And I just gotta draw your attention to how awkward this man is. Like, it was a long time ago. Dude, it's so funny. I went back and watched it. It's like a decent video. And then there's a part where there's like no cuts. It's just Big Sean's feature in the middle. And he's like, it's like a single like semi-static camera shot. And it's just him. And he's like, it's like him and his two bodyguards. And he's like throwing money in the air like he's at the club. He's like outside of a cabin in the woods. It's just like such a weird thing. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I can't even like recall this song right now. You know, I looked up the video. It's 9 years old. Like,
yeah, it's off Days Before. The song Don't Play, you know, the big one. It's one of the big ones off Days Before Radio.
Yeah.
Okay, I played 2 seconds. I recall it.
Yeah, there you go. That'll do it.
To me. But yeah. We also have Lucky coming out with All Love. And then we have I believe this song was released on the vinyl that just came out, but Mac Miller's estate will be releasing the song called The Quest. It will finally be on streaming. It was an extra song thrown in at the end of the vinyl for watching movies with the sound off. It just came out. So super exciting for this. Once again, flowers to the Mac Miller estate for
the way they're
dropping and handling it very the right way.
Yeah.
And then we have Georgia Smith coming out with a song "Go Go Go." So excited for that as well. She's been having quite a run the last years. So that'd be really dope. And then Jasper has some more stuff. You want to cover it?
Yeah, I threw in a couple of videos that came out this week. It's been like an unusually active video week. We got a video for Breathe, Yeats hit.
Oh yeah, I gotta listen to that because that's definitely rising to the top as far as like songs from that album.
It is actually a very like interesting video. It's exactly what I would expect the aesthetics, the visual like tones of that song to be. And it's, to quote Fantano, nightclub in the future, a nightclub in 2093. It's that. It's great. 10 out of 10. Visual effects super solid too. I'm not sure like what studio did them, but really impressive for like seemingly out of nowhere. Because his other videos, like he's done videos with Lyrical. He's done a couple outside of that as well, and those have all been good. But this really feels like pretty polished. I was impressed.
Yeah,
I got this. I was gonna say I got to see about 5 to 10 seconds of the snippet, like on Instagram or Twitter or something, and it seems like he's moving past the ski mask days, which is like an interesting new aesthetic.
Yeah,
he was talking about that. Like people were seeing him out in public without it. It's like a new era of like ski mask era over. Lyrical put out one video just the other day, and then they've actually put out basically two within a week, which is kind of new for them. We got a video for First Night, the song with Tizo, Denzel Curry, and I don't remember who else is on that song. I know that Bass Got a Little B is right at the very end with the spoken part, but
okay. I saw that post.
It's very weird. It's kind of a lot of fun. It's really interesting and pretty well done. And then also we got a video a couple days ago. I think it was 8 days ago now. I'm surprised we didn't cover it last week, but maybe it came out like really late. Doomsday Part 2, which is the follow-up to the Cordae Juice WRLD.
Yeah, the one with Eminem, right?
Yeah. It's a little shorter. Eminem's actually in the video, which is pretty cool. Not the first time he's worked with the guys, but it's keeping with the All Is Yellow aesthetic, just with Eminem in it. And it's pretty good. So definitely worth checking out.
That's a really big deal for them. I mean, obviously they've worked with massive artists already now.
Well, yeah, they did the Godzilla video.
Exactly.
With Juice WRLD, so yeah.
But being able to grab I think it's fair to say Eminem's old enough to be called a legend or something of that nature.
Yeah.
It's good for him to get someone at that level.
Yeah. Plus, I think it's good for Eminem. I think it goes the other way as well. I think that's why I liked Godzilla, which was I think it was the first video he shot with Lyrical, was the Godzilla video with Juice WRLD, and I liked that video a lot, but I like the song on its own just because for that exact thing. It felt like someone who, not just like someone who's like a great or a legend, but someone who's kind of a curmudgeon and like not eager to work with the youth, like doing exactly that. So. Yeah, I think this was a smart move by both Lyrical and by Eminem to like just like collab together. And First Night, I'll have to check out the video. I have once again I do exactly what Jasper was talking about earlier, where it's just like you just put YouTube videos on YouTube and you just like let it play, and the Lyrical ones always show up, and I always just let them play, especially the ones for All Is Yellow. So yeah, and I gotta watch the Eat Breathe video. Breathe is the best song on that album, so I don't doubt it. All right, now we got a shit ton of news.
Yes, we do have a lot of news. I was actually going to say one thing that we can jump right into. Calm down, Jasper.
Yeah.
It's a good week for Tyler fans who live in Chicago.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Well, let's just jump right into it. The Lala lineup was...
Lala lineup was announced. It's nuts.
A good lineup.
Really, really solid lineup. Yeah.
We'll see how the schedule breaks down, but man, it's already better than last year.
Yeah, no, this is easily a much more compelling lineup. Big names are Tyler the Creator, SZA, Future and Metro Boomin.
Hold on a minute.
Blink-182. What up?
Is there an update?
I'm getting mixed information. There are different posters out that have different lineups, some with and some without Tyler.
No, if you go to Lollapalooza.com, if you go to Lollapalooza.com, it says Yeah, he's at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, I like went to images and I was trying to pull like the first thing, which I assumed would be their site, but
Yeah. So within the scope of this podcast, I think the biggest ones are SZA, Tyler, and Future, Metro Boomin.
Absolutely.
And then Blink-182 is huge. Hosier is probably the artist I am most excited to see out of this crop. So
Really?
I fucking love Hosier, dude. He's so good.
Oh.
Yeah, like.
but will you go to church with him?
I do.
See, I don't do the music, and I'm actually happy that I didn't understand that.
Well, his most famous song is called "Take Me to Church."
No, I can't. Damn it, I know that song.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
That you didn't have to really for me.
yeah. But then some also really fun down the line talent too, like Dominic Fike, Killer Mike, Tizo. So yeah,
Kevin Abstract is on there.
yeah, Kevin Abstract, Sexy Red,
Kenny Beats.
yeah, Kenny Beats, Deftones. Honestly, like, say that again.
Atlantis is on there. Also
Yeah.
Black Tiger Sex Machine, which if you're into that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Vince Staples. Goddamn, that was in the huge one.
Staples
Yeah.
is on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah's gonna be on there right after the album.
Yeah, sir.
Tyler, after her album today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New albums actually.
That's what they usually do. A lot of places basically use these big festivals as like their tour stop.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm very excited. I'm not gonna be able to go to Riot Fest this year, so I have doubled down on going to Lollapalooza, and now I feel like I won't regret it. So
Good decisions made.
yeah.
And this is announced right after another big festival that just passed, Rolling Loud. Seems to have been a success from what I have heard.
Yeah. Except for the most obvious point of failure that could happen at Rolling Loud.
They Sir Kanye.
Yeah, the make it stop, make it stop, make it stop.
Start chanting. Yeah, that was a disaster. But I heard the other show.
No, I've heard everything else has gone off really well. It looks great. An artist I did not think was at Rolling Loud that I'm very happy to see on the festival circuit was that Mexican OT.
Mhm.
It makes me think, what if he's at Summer Smash? I don't know. Just a thought.
That'd be cool.
No.
Would fit.
He would definitely fit there more than any other festival, though. Yeah, in our city. So
That is.
yeah, so I was really happy just because like I'm a champion for that artist. I was very happy to see him included in that lineup. And yeah, no, I was very unsurprised to hear that Kanye simply played all previously released music and vibed on stage. So how the mighty have fallen.
I was thinking about something today that this is like the time to bring it up. I was thinking about the kind of like the chant line to
Carnival.
Yeah, Carnival.
Yeah.
Oh
That
my God.
melody is basically just Mo Bamba.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it until like the other day. I was like, wait a minute.
I just like, dude, that is the song I have heard the most just because it shows up on TikTok. By the way, I did not think there would be such desperate TikTok marketing for the Vultures album. I'm getting like
Not familiar.
dude, every other ad I get is for Yeezy brands featuring like the most emaciated white model I've ever seen. Like, yeah.
It's like, how skinny do you want him? Christian Bale and the Machinist.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta tell you, I just have never been so happy to have just skipped an album.
Yeah.
I'm mad at you.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So we also had a lot of album release dates announced this week.
Yes.
So first one, definitely the biggest. Yeah, definitely the biggest one. We're getting Renaissance Act 2 finally at the end of the month. Cowboy Carter. It's going to be a country album.
If anyone can do it.
It's Beyonce, 100%. Like, look, I've heard the songs that are out. They're good. But I don't know. I'm just not. I don't like country music, so I'm nowhere near as excited for country Beyonce as I was for house music Beyonce.
This had better have 2 Lil Nas X features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one in the first 3 tracks, and a one at like the second to last.
Yeah.
To space it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm calling it now. Just like when you double stack a collaborator like that, I'm thinking 21 Savage on Utopia.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. Then we have the project that the least amount of people in the world have asked for. Trippie Redd and Machine Gun Kelly.
It's a big day for toxic high schoolers.
Yeah, it's a good day for people who call their mom a bitch.
I didn't put it on there because I just wanted you all to guess. Do either one of you know what the album name is?
Is it called
Is it
It's
just-
Not
is
a
it
Phase?
called-
Is it called Monster Energy Drink? Like,
Is it called Toxic?
It's called Genre Sad Boy. I'm not even.
Oh wait, I saw
So
something
much
about
worse.
this. I saw that on Twitter and I didn't know what it was referencing. Oh my
Jesus Christ.
God.
Jasper could make a pun better than that title.
Genre Sad Boy. Yeah.
Dude, we live in such a bad world. Yeah.
Yeah, so
We couldn't just get Rockstar Nights Part 2.
Yeah.
Like,
No, we got to get with MGK.
I
yeah.
don't want anything anymore.
No. Make it stop. Just make it stop.
So it's like
Just give me a J. Cole album and put me to bed. Like,
literally.
A J. Cole MGK collab album.
no, make it stop.
I don't
Make it stop.
J. Cole can say that.
I'd rather have a Run the Jewels Donald Trump collab.
Stop it. See, that's the mark of the beast. Everything else up until this point, child's play.
That's the mark of the beast. Oh my
We
god.
can't make that a thing.
That's oh my god. Have you guys seen the Michael Che show, his sketch show on HBO Max?
I've seen no excerpts online. Yeah.
Dude, there's one funny one about the mark of the beast. It's like it's just going back, it's like social media, that's the mark of the beast. I don't need,
More.
Be proud of that.
it's like cell phones, that's the mark of the beast. It's like carrier pigeons, like
Oh my god.
so they can shoot my pigeons and read my messages.
Jesus.
Incredible.
Very funny.
In much lighter news, we have 2 actually good albums confirmed for next month. For April 5th, we have Bryson Tiller, a return. I don't know how many years. He's had an actually very interesting career that I learned recently. So
Has he?
I don't know if this is
Tell me what's interesting about it, because
Brandon.
I don't hate Bryson Tiller. I'm not anti Bryson Tiller. I am very easy. I'm primed to be won over, right? Because
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm primed to be won over. Like 4 Bats has put me into like the mode of like I want more moody R&B. Let me get that. Tell me I'm Bryson Tiller, because to me he's always just been like kind of boring. But like no, but like tell me, like because I'm open minded. I want to believe, right? I'm like
I want to believe. I'll say this actually though, because my cousins and I talked about this recently, and that's why like I've recently learned about Bryson Tiller. Like, I understand it's annoying to hear like, oh, you had to be there to like really experience it. But I
it
feel
is.
like artists that like he just hit really, really hard, really, really quickly, and then faded just as quickly.
To me, all that means is that like the quality of the project was like less than like the cultural impact of it.
That's fair,
Yeah,
but I don't look at every album to get like the cultural impact. But
Sure, that's fair.
It would matter.
that's fair. But it's like, you know, you look. There's a whole lot of albums that like I think Good Kid, Mad City is probably like the best example of one where it's like, oh, like yeah, that was a moment. Like there's an element to it, like you had to be there. But there's also an element of like people are discovering this album. Yeah, 18-year-olds are listening to this album for the first time every year, and it has remained relevant. So
That's
There- there's a push and pull there.
I don't know. I understand. I have listened to the biggest one for him, and I do enjoy it. But like the fact that the reason we were even talking about this, one of my cousins hit the group chat and said Bryson Tiller or Brett Fayez, and the fact that he asked me that blew my mind.
Yeah,
So I was
right.
like, this is even close.
Yeah, like I would not even. Yeah,
But like, I had 3 mid-30-year-olds who was like there in the moment, it was just like, bro, don't get me wrong, Brett Fires is better, but like you had to see, you had to be there, and I was like, all right, I don't know.
We'll see.
Questionable.
We'll see. I'm down. I'm here. I'm gonna listen to the project. Probably. Like,
So here's the thing: the other person, because to push away from Brett Fires, because I thought it was so uneven, was actually the other person that's releasing next month.
yeah.
Party Next Door is releasing April 26th.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Party Next Door, I like kind of get. Like,
yeah, this will be closer to a comparison for him, in my opinion.
yeah, like Party Next Door, like, I mean, in some ways, he's kind of like Bryson Tiller in that, like, I like the sound, but I haven't really liked any songs. Does that make sense? Where it's like, yeah, I could fuck.
I don't agree, but it does make sense.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I like that. Like, I think this is like a perfectly talented person, but nothing has just grabbed me. And maybe if I did a deep dive, something would. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Party Next Door, I've heard a lot more of, though, than Bryson Tiller.
So it was a moment, but
We all,
right.
yeah, we all have lots of moments, right? You know, in 2012, when we were drinking cough syrup and watching Adult Swim at 2 a.m., it was a moment, wasn't it? We all saw,
Definitely doing those things.
That's not
like,
what's in the
yeah.
yeah, yeah, we all saw unedited footage of a bear. Look,
Moving on.
correct. But yes, moving on. We have the second vlog that's come out for J. Cole on Mike the Leak Later. I'm so ready. Then that's all.
you ready for cold season?
But there's one big question though.
Yeah,
Did he feel cute?
I hate you.
yeah.
It wasn't a pun.
Don't bemoan. Do not bemoan Jermaine.
Our father Cole. But yes, and it's a lot of content, a lot of behind the scenes kind of stuff. So I thought it was dope. I liked it. I'm ready for cold season. Moving on, we actually was talking about Dr. Dre, or we was talking about Eminem earlier. Sorry. We were speaking about Eminem, and there's actually some news coming up for him. Dr. Dre confirmed in the interview with Snoop Dogg next to him that Eminem will be dropping an album at some point this year. I don't know if that's a promise or a threat, but
Yes.
we're here. And on top of that, in the same week, I want to say he has earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So a lot of stuff going on over the West Coast.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
It's about time.
How's
It didn't start in, or wasn't an extra in Training Day for nothing.
Yeah. So is this going to be a Dr. Dre produced Eminem album? Because that might wake me up in the morning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, like
We can hope.
What was the last time we had some Dr. Dre produced?
probably that.
Dr. Dre produced tracks off of the last two Eminem albums.
Yeah, but just a
tracks,
couple.
not the full album.
Yeah. He dropped that Compton album when Straight Outta Compton came out. It was very confusing because he dropped it the same day and it was called Compton, but it had nothing to do with the movie.
Interesting.
It was like the release of it was like tied in with the promotion of the movie, but it was a project that had been being developed since before the movie was developed. Apparently.
I have a hot take.
Yeah.
That's what the Black Panther Kendrick album sounds like,
Yeah.
personally. It feels like stuff that was iterated on prior, and then it was like a good tie-in moment. But yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
All right. Next one. This is huge and tragic for me.
Go on.
Yeah. Well, first off, because I called this. I don't know if you guys. Well, first off, okay. I'm going to start by saying this. The best song of this year so far is Yeah Glow. I cannot stop listening to that song.
Cuban on Cuban.
Dude. And my shit's still bumping in the jail ho.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
It's such a good song, right? So I was like, oh my God, I think it'd be so sick if Glorilla. Because like I feel like I'm still telling people about her. And specifically in the context of like, you have to see her live because of our experience at Summer Smash last year. Because it's like, you have to see her live. It is like, she was blowing me away with her live performance long before she put out music I had any interest in listening to. Right? And I was like, she would just be the perfect guest for Megan Thee Stallion, who I feel like it is just like, honestly, like a pinnacle level artist at this point. You know, I think she is, you know, to pop rap. I think she is. How do you get, like, even just like on a like a technical level, like how do you get better than that? You know.
Mm.
And yeah, the tour is confirmed. Megan Thee Stallion with Glorilla opening, and they're going to be in Chicago the night I'm officiating a wedding.
Pain,
Yeah,
agony, even.
it happens. You can't miss them. You know, it sucks, but like, there's nothing you can do.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's like they definitely. I feel like they're gonna come out with singles together.
100%. And like, I think it's a perfect combination.
Plus, isn't Megan working on the album?
Yeah, no, there's an album coming alongside. Yeah. I just think she used to always do a big tour in the summer. And I think this is kind of just calling back to that.
Makes sense.
All right.
I like it.
One thing I wanted to add on to this. Glorilla met Joe Biden this past week.
What's going on with this?
Why? Why would she
I don't
want
know.
to?
I don't know the context, but there was a selfie that she took of them, and it's funny, and it's making the rounds on social media. And I saw it, so now you two should have to see
I
it.
was gonna say I want to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty cute. It's like it's giving big like friendly neighbor down the block energy.
Oh,
No.
Glorilla looks so good. This is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she.
And Camilla.
Yeah, no. This is a Glorilla's year. I think we should have been calling this from the second we saw that performance because
Yeah.
It's blowing up.
it
was inevitable.
This is inevitable. So shout out to her, Megan. Wish I could be at the store, but nothing I can do about it unless something awful happens.
Takes the wedding to the tour.
No.
That was like chance level. Just like
you
you
know what you must do if something awful happens.
It's like, God forbid Chance gets a divorce.
If they elope and you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they could do that, but they're not going to do that. She's from Reynolds Park anyway.
Oops. Yeah.
They're going to see this.
No.
Well, tell us about the concert you just saw then.
Let's do the Tyler thing first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Come on now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Jasper.
$1,000 clothes for people whose brain stems should be removed from their skulls.
No, this is big exciting. There's some cool
This actually
going on here.
I just don't have disposable thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Mood.
I resent anyone who has the ability. Anyone who spends money on Louis Vuitton, I feel like is on the wrong side of history.
The wrong side of history?
Yeah.
So Tyler the Creator has released a LV spring collection brought in by Pharrell to kind of lead the collection. There's a lot of cool, like, interesting pieces. There's plays on the original monogram. There's plays on original LV silhouettes, and kind of just taking the clothes in a more like Golf LaFleur kind of direction. Really pretty interesting stuff. And as fair of a point as Brandon makes, I do want to point out that even though this is technically like collab clothing and collab accessories, they're not priced any higher than like regular LV, which is like, I don't know, take a W when you can, I guess, like the smallest possible dub.
I just feel like
wallet is the same
Louis
price.
V at its cheapest is...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like...
100%.
Fair, though, normal people actually do buy Louis all the time. Like as presents. Like you can buy a Louis purse for somebody.
Define normal. You know, half the country the average salary in America is $35,000, and that means that half the people in the country make less than that. So, I think normal might be a consequences of your surroundings and not an
Normalized.
yeah. Because like, listen, I did not grow up in like an incredibly poor family. You know, we were very much middle class until the recession hit. And like, we never had money for that shit. Right? Like, my family took us to Disney World. We never had money for shit like Louis. So I don't know if that's actually a thing that like.
Well, I think the big news coming out of this is not so much the fact that it's necessarily like a Louis, like that the product is really exciting or interesting, even though some of it I think is. I think the story here is really the fact that coming from just designing things off the cuff as early as 2008, Tyler's kind of worked his way throughout different collaborations, different brand deals to arrive at this. And the fact that someone who was as fringe as he was, probably like, I don't know, 10 years ago, is now a collaborator for like one of the largest and frankly the most profitable fashion house in the world is kind of an interesting turnaround. It's kind of a cool success story from like a design perspective.
I don't know. I feel like it would be interesting if he was collaborating with Louis V 10 years ago. But I feel like the second, and like, look, don't get me wrong. I'm going to say this despite the fact it being my favorite Tyler album. But I feel like the second Tyler dropped Igor, he put himself directly in the line of like the type of creative that someone like Louis V would tap. So I don't know. I just don't see it as that interesting on that level either. You know, if it was someone like Tizo, who's like really out of the box and like really raw, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. The design language around it is all like, it screams him too, which is kind of interesting. It's like he really got to put his own thing on like the existing trademarks, which for better or for worse is like a unique approach. Yeah, pretty neat. I will be looking forward to trying to buy things from this collection ungrailed once they have depreciated by 60%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The trunk from the collection is $68,000. So, you know.
The person's like $1,000.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, next thing, I got to see the Jay-Z of alternative rapping concert last night.
Can you imagine it's on his like Instagram bio?
Yeah.
And you would put that.
Yeah. But no, I was Danny Brown was at the Metro last night with Hook and Bruiser Wolf, two real small hip hop acts, and it was first off the most interesting thing because not only is this a hip hop show, this was a hip hop show very explicitly for weirdos. The most punctual set I have ever seen in my life. Bruiser Wolf started at exactly 10 o'clock on the dot. Hook started exactly 9 o'clock on the dot. Hook started at exactly 9:30, and Danny started at exactly 10. Like, wow. Insane level of just, like, they're putting on the show. Bruiser Wolf was pretty interesting. He has a interesting style, I would say, in that he sounds like if Run DMC rapped about the same things as Future. Right? Like... That's exactly what he sounds like. He has big playing chess in the pits energy for someone rapping about threesomes and selling crack. Right.
Well, I went to the lead store and I bought myself some lead.
Yeah, that's a Bruiser Wolf song. Like that is like
that's so fucking funny, dude.
But it was very
actually
good.
Crying a little bit.
But it was good. It was enjoy. I am saying this like, no, this was actually pretty good. Like.
I gotta listen to this. Hold on. Is it BR? Yeah, Bruiser Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on Quaranta.
The hat, dude. The
hat. Yeah, he wore the hat. Like,
fuck yeah.
He wore the hat with just a t-shirt. Just like. And then the second opener was another artist I had never heard of named Hook. And at their best, they were very interesting. Like, they were very much like a hype, like almost like a rage artist, but very much in like a kind of hard to describe. Like, I kind of want to describe like the Lauryn Hill kind of like dready, kind of spiritual kind of thing. She started the show with a hell of a statement because her DJ, they dimmed the lights, everything turned red, and they played Fiend. And then they transitioned Fiend into her first song, and she just hit it.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah,
that video of Fiend. I was like, in what context would this?
Yeah, it was they transitioned into the opener for the second opener hook, and it was nuts. And later she did, like, at the halfway point, she did the same thing, but then she just did a cover of Finito. Like, it just, like, she did the same thing for Finito, but then she came out and she literally just did the cover of it and just crowd surfed. So it was very cool. And then Danny Brown came out and very scorched earth style set, most similar to, like, Pusha T.
Yeah.
He comes out, he probably does about 4 or 5 songs off Quaranta. And then he starts going through the backlog. He does all the classics, you know. And then he does like a good 5-6 songs off Scaring the Hose, which he played God Loves You 15 times.
Of course.
Yeah.
As is tradition.
Yeah, as is tradition. And then he closed with Bruiser Wolf coming out and some other songs off Quaranta. And his the encore was Celibate.
Hell yeah. Love that song.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was a hell of a great performance. It was very like on the road and workman like kind of to a degree. Like he was very much like, yeah, I'm gonna do an encore, but I'm not gonna stay very long. I'm 43. I gotta get to bed. Like he's like, I don't rage all night anymore. I'll die. Like you know, and he was able to cover just like a lot of songs because like he was just like he was doing what Pusha T did when we saw him, when he was just kind of like burnt, like when the features come on, he would just end the song and like do a new one. Right? He was doing exactly that. And like it was someone who like, because I remember starting to listen to Danny Brown in 2013 when Triple X came out. And I was like, fuck, this is wild to me. Like this is why, like I had no idea how much history I had listening to this guy's music. And you know, his enunciation was better than ever. His energy was, how do I put this? The effort was there. He was just very clearly somewhat tired. Like,
I mean, when you're 43, that's your fault.
He was like, yeah, he was very clearly somewhat tired, but he was definitely putting his all into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it was fantastic. The Metro was, I think this is probably the best artist to like venue pairing I've ever seen. Because like Danny Brown is the king of the kind of artist that would only ever show up at like the Metro. Yeah, just because it's so much smaller than Aragon or pretty much everywhere else we've been. It's probably closest in size to House of Blues.
Yeah, it's got kind of a similar. It's like it's not super deep, but it's very wide.
It's very wide, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic show. I was incredibly grateful to be there. And yeah, he gets to survive for playing songs off Scaring the Hose. I was very worried he wouldn't play any of those.
There would have been a riot.
I would be very upset. But because he didn't do a because they didn't do a stop on the Scaring the Hose tour in Chicago. What am I supposed to do, Danny? I'm not going to drive to Indianapolis to Scare the Hose.
Did he perform? Did he perform at a festival around that time, like within a month on either side? Sometimes artists have clauses where it's like you can't double dip your own show and a festival appearance, according to like the festival people.
I don't know. I know because I've had tickets to Danny Brown before.
Yeah.
In 2020, I was going to go see him and Run the Jewels at Pitchfork, but then 2020 happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So hell of a show. Couldn't recommend it more. And yeah. So are we gonna do schools in session before we get to the review?
Do it. Rule. 1 second. Did not have any.
Oh, you silly bitch.
But show. Okay. King Von.
King Von?
King Von.
King Von. Oh, he's from Chicago, so I guess A+.
I'm going to throw a question mark.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a question mark. I'm nowhere near as familiar with King Von.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing a question mark.
Yeah, me too.
I've been told thing. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
So my listening is King Von adjacent, so that's gonna have to be something we do at some point.
Yeah. I agree. All right. Sorry. Wamp wamp.
Hobson.
Hobson?
D tier.
Did the guy who invented college go to college?
I have no comment.
What a fucking gift. What a gift. No, you got to give him an F. You have to. No, you are. No, you can't do that to him. No, you can't.
I couldn't tell you a song. I couldn't tell you a song.
Neither could I, but I know enough. Dude, all you got to know about Hobson is Hobson's best song was when he made a parody of a Future song and he just mumbled over it, and that shit accidentally went super hard. It was like, yo, this is just edging like
Nah.
Dude, F. I give Hobson. I am very comfortable giving Hobson an F.
I'm putting him enough. I don't care. We only have like 2 other Fs. So
I'm gonna say D, if only because I think he has contributed, I think in a production standpoint, to a couple of songs that I actually like that are other people's. But that's about it. It's like all of his own stuff is just, you know, it's like pretty much a no-brainer otherwise.
I don't know.
D minus.
D minus.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll settle for that.
Yeah, the contacts alone, jailable offense.
Yeah.
Contacts.
Like you have no business looking that weird. What are you doing?
That's all I knew about him.
Sir, you are not Tizo touchdown.
Jesus Christ. All right, Little Dirk.
Little Dirk?
B plus.
I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go just a solid straight B.
I think B is good enough.
Yeah. I like Lil Durk. I feel like I've listened to enough of Lil Durk to render a judgment, but that's about it. Like,
I think he's gonna start making a larger cultural impact on the city soon.
Yeah, because he's just
his crowd at Summer Smash.
His crowd is always huge everywhere, right? It's just I feel like I wonder what kind of crowd he pulls in cities that aren't here. I feel like he's huge in Chicago, right? I just feel like he's not, because it feels like any kind of like hip hop media that comes from anywhere else, like he's just kind of ignored.
I gotta say, just a little fun story time for you. Back when I lived on Wentworth, down by like Sox Park, like right off the freeway, my building was literally right off the freeway, and for months at a time, the entire corner of it, where my room was wrapped in like Lil Durk advertising because they had like billboards up on the building.
That's fun.
So it was just like all of his like projects from 2019 to 2018 to 2020 pretty much were just like up there at some point or another.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was fun.
2016 you saw Chance to Smile Everywhere?
Yeah. That was right outside because I lived next to where he got suspended for the 10 days. So that and Lupe's album that came out at the time, I can't remember. I think it was Tiezzo something. One of his weird ones.
It's
just
weird.
Everywhere. Yeah. All right. Lil Durk. Let's go.
Okay. Rod Wave.
And
the singing man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bow out of this one too. God damn.
I was gonna say, I know, like I've seen a bunch of viral snippets of him.
Yeah,
think of like
God damn, I feel bad. I feel real bad.
Insane.
I don't doubt it.
Like no.
Wasn't there that thing of him like falling off a table recently at a show?
Yeah.
That's like a video that went viral.
It's a video of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Rod Wave can sing for real, for real. I mean, I feel like I know enough to at least place him in B. But yeah, I can understand the question marks.
I got you watch, man.
All right.
Last one?
Yep, one more. Need to fill this in real quick. So Fago.
So Fago. Oh, it's at least one I've heard. B minus.
Okay.
Yeah, just too much.
Is he the one signed to
He's on Cactus Jack.
that crew?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him at Lala, I think 2 years ago at this point.
I saw him at.
It was good, but it was repetitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw him at Lyrical's 10-year anniversary. Let me see.
That would make sense. He would fit in perfectly with that group.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was all right. He wasn't one of the standouts for me. The standout from that day for me forever will be Famous Dex. But yeah, that was like,
he goes hard.
I would say B- also, like B- C, somewhere in there.
But I think we'll stay around the low B or the high C's, low B's, somewhere around there.
Awesome.
All right, but that's all.
All right. Well, shall we get to the main course? Our review of KingTrey's Southend Legend. Jasper, you're the one who brought this to our attention, so why don't you introduce the album?
Yes. So we got a DM a while back with this album in it, just a link to the Spotify. I think that was mid-December. It was right when, the holidays were happening. Things were a little crazy. May have been a little early. May have been like around Thanksgiving. But I remember seeing it. And I remember listening to it right then. And I was like, this is pretty good. And then we just like, either the show didn't happen or we like kind of worked through other things that were coming out. But I remember in January when you were both over at my place, putting this on when we had people over and being like, I want to review this. And here we are finally with a week that we don't have any like current pressing releases, or we can sit down and dig into something that I think is pretty great, like pretty hot local music. Like this.
Yeah, no, this had style. This was really good. We hear countless like local artists who are like all bubbling up, and like I think like no matter, like there are pitfalls no matter where you're looking for artists. Like obviously, like if you're only getting your stuff from the radio, it's only going to sound one way, right?
Yeah.
And I think like one of the pitfalls of local artists is that like, sometimes they can either come across very amateurish, or they don't have a sense of like what a project is, or like it's like unfocused, right?
Yeah.
This was none of those things, right? Yeah. This had a strong identity. It had really tight like songwriting, some incredibly well-used features. I think it runs a tad bit long in the tooth, but beyond that, like this is a really, really stellar project from a young artist upcoming.
Yeah. So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've been trying to do as much research as I could, like before we got on the podcast form. And at least one thing that stood out the most, I feel like this was perfect timing that we did find him, because at least in terms of project lengths and in terms of features that you have on the album, it appears that this might be like one of his breakout albums. Like this is easily the largest thing that he's put out, at least on Spotify, that I could find.
It is. Yeah. And we are doing this pretty close to the release of the deluxe version of Southend Legend, which came out earlier this year. I mentioned that at the start of the show, but as a project, it's got some extra bits and bobs tacked on the end. It's got some remixes, but just kind of I guess a local love moment. Yeah, I know KingTrey is originally from Evanston, I think, or lives there, and a lot of the stuff is based deeply like local Chicago scene. So very cool to see. We got Mick Jenkins features all over this. Go to the Friend is on here. It's definitely like a bit of a favorite son album in that way. So I was pretty excited to go through it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And yeah, why do we want to go down the track list now, or do we want to talk about? Because it's kind of hard to talk. Usually we'll talk about like expectations, right? But like, that's the appealing part about this, right? Is that like there are no expectations, because I had no idea who KingTrey was until Jasper was like, "Can we review this album this week?"
Yeah. So before we go down the track list, I'm curious, like, aside from the thoughts you have now having listened to the album, when you first heard it, either partway through, what were your like initial reactions to just the style, the delivery, the musicality of it?
It took until the second listen to like move past this, but I thought it was very Juice WRLD-y. I thought it felt very like influenced by the work Juice WRLD did at being simultaneously like very lyrical and very expressive, right? Like
I
putting,
can see that.
yeah, like putting a premium on those two attributes.
Yeah. At least for me coming into it, because there is no form of introduction, I feel like naturally in my own head, I categorize music not necessarily by tiers or by ranking, but like there's different, very clear Chicago styles. Like there's very clear drill music on the South Side. There's very clear music when it's very lyrical in a sense where you might get like a Mick Jenkins or a No Name or something like that. Right away, I was able to realize like this is going to be something that's like more focused on the actual quality of the lyrics and like pay attention to what he actually has to say because like yeah, I don't know enough about him in his previous albums to say it's like a concept, but there is very clear themes and messages that are sprinkled all throughout the album, and it's very consistent. So it was really dope coming into it, at least right from the jump. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be something like I can actually sit down and like pick apart.
Definitely, yeah. I felt the same way. There are definitely some standout tracks for me as far as like things that made this stick for me. A lot of stuff I'll listen to, it doesn't make a crazy impression and I'll forget about it. But I've been consistently coming back to this for like the past 2-3 months at least. So let's get through the track list and we can kind of like discuss, see what we have that we like, anything we dislike, or anything that we think we want to see more of going forward.
I mean, there was definitely nothing, with the exception, I don't know, I won't even say that I disliked it, but like the only thing that was like really off-putting to me was just, it's a very religious album. It is, you know, just a very religious album, and I'm just like, not someone who completely aligns.
A religious person.
Not only that, it's not even that I'm not a religious person, it's that I have some issues with like the way that kind of thinking like unfolds. You know, like a kind of like very simplistic, like messianic kind of thinking that like think, you know. But that was pretty much the only part of this that I just did not straight up enjoy. You know, I do think some of it was like, you know, you have to give people room to just kind of experiment with stuff. Like I think like in the strip of songs between like Ironic and Faded, like don't get me wrong, I think like specifically Ironic and Faded are all really good songs, but I think they start to just not even meander, but just kind of like bubble at like the same point, right? And I think like that's just part of the process, especially with like a much younger audience. Not audience, a much younger artist, you know.
Artist, yeah. So
you go ahead, Jasper.
I was just gonna say, like, one thing that is really interesting to me looking through the track list, I'm looking at the original edition right now, not the deluxe, just for the sake of this.
Me too.
But the play counts across these, it's really interesting to see like what got traction and what didn't. Yeah. Especially because my favorite song on this project is one that very much didn't get traction. But
which one is that?
The song that keeps me coming back is The Long Way. That song hits. I am a fan. I am probably 1,000 of those 5,000, or what is it, 6,225 plays. I'm probably 1,000 of those.
Yeah.
Super solid. I just like earworm, total earworm.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. Yeah, that was very good. I see. It's very funny at the same time because I think my favorite one is probably the one right before that, Risky.
Yeah, that's a good
and you know, you can see because I think Mick Jenkins is probably the biggest name that's on this project.
Yeah.
You could just see like a huge disparity between like the two songs he's on. And I love
Carefree, dude.
Yeah. Carefree goes super hard. I actually love Femdot too, because Femdot, you guys have met my buddy PJ at a few things. Like Femdot and PJ are close. So I've known about Femdot for forever. So that was honestly, seeing his name on this was more like, oh, I'm excited to jump into this. Even more than Mick Jenkins. But yeah, I think Risky was probably my favorite track.
Purvis, what were you going to say before? And also if there are any tracks that really like stand out to you?
What I was going to say before, first off of what Brandon was saying towards the end, it does feel like, at least for me personally, I like the beginning of the album significantly more than the end, and it could be because the end it kind of plateaus and kind of I don't want to say get drawn out, but
I think
some of the songs could have been shortened or cut or whatever it needs.
I totally agree. Yeah. I think the last two, I think it ends super strong. I think the last two tracks are very strong.
Yeah.
But I think there's just a passage, like there's like a good run in the end that is like a little like runs together.
A nice finishing touch on it. And going off what you were saying as well, Jasper, that was the biggest thing that kind of caught my attention specifically with this album. When you sent it to us, I didn't see the deluxe, so I only saw the 14 songs. The massive jump between the numbers. Now, obviously, streaming numbers don't mean everything.
Yeah.
But in some cases like this, when you're at a lower tier of numbers, when you start jumping thousands, hundreds of thousands difference, you can see the very clear influence that maybe the features might have played into it. And I wonder, how did he jump, or what was taken? I obviously, when you meet new artists, I want to know like his backstory, who is he as a person, what jump happened between an album like The Light of Day and then Southend Legend.
Yeah,
so it would be interesting just to see if he made more connections, if maybe something clicked and then went from there.
Yeah.
The only thing in terms of, I'll go over the highlights first. My personal favorite highlight, which honestly surprising to you guys, is the Black Kid in Glenview.
That was that
hits.
Yeah, that hits really hard.
A true storytelling song.
Yeah, I think it's so weird he calls it an interview, an interlude. Yeah,
it's more than an interlude.
Yeah, it is not. It's longer than both songs on both sides of it. I get like why, because it's like,
yeah,
it is a song you would listen to exclusively for the storytelling and that
context.
But like I don't know if I would ever just go to Black Kid in Glenview, but I would never skip it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so
that's very true.
What it should say is Black Kid in Glenview parentheses bearing my soul.
Yeah,
that should be like the sub there. But
and like
super good.
Honestly, like if there's, and he's already doing like, especially for someone who is as young as he is, because he has plenty of projects, but he's still like in his early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he's already doing this, but like I think I would love a song that is as melodic and hard hitting as Destiny, as Risky, as Carefree, with like this level of bearing your soul on it. I don't think like those things are necessarily like have to be kept separated. I appreciate like the decision here to keep those separated and have that play as its own track. I think that's totally valid and totally cool. I just, would like to see those two parts maybe tie together a little closer. To me, like if we're talking about like where this kid could go besides just, because it seems like at this point the game is almost like keep making music this good until you pop off.
Yeah, very true.
But it's like, if he's going to push it creatively, like I think that's probably the only way he can.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
I like that storytelling the most. That's probably the highlight for me. And obviously I'll talk about everything in between, but there was one, I won't say low light, but one thing that I had to get through myself. I feel like all three of us do this, but we're very critical of like skits and like extra things that go into the album. I feel like some of the interviews that taken place, just the people selection, like sometimes it didn't come off as, it was more telling than showing. I'll say that. But it's telling a story of like him making it big, whereas like in the music he shows it. So sometimes it was just a little challenge for me, like hearing the voices. It wasn't as like convincing as actually like hearing the music. But that's just for me.
Makes sense. I want to ask your opinions on two songs. Southend Baby. What do we think of that song?
Southend Baby to me is one of those songs that runs like very, what's the phrase I'm trying to say? Like it very much blurs into the songs like before and after for me.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it just did not stand out for me. It was not like, like one of the quote unquote like tests is like when I listen to a song like, oh, do I want to know the name of this song? right? Am I gonna tap my phone to like get the name of the song? Like I did that when I Black Kid in Glenview, Ironic, Faded, all those songs. That's what I did. Southend Baby, like I just have never like. I'm sure if I played it right now and everyone else would hear it, I would know what song it was, but it just like kind of blurred together for me.
No. Purvis?
At least for me, the first time I went through the album, I pretty much got like scanned over it without like thinking too deeply. The second time I listened to it, it did remind me of like an older Chance, which I feel like
there it is. That's why I brought it up. Yeah,
that's what you were gonna say.
This track, I don't know what it is.
Sound like it.
It feels like something out of 10 Day, like the instrumentation on it.
It feels like it's out of Social Experiment almost.
True, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting.
That's what you're gonna say.
It's not one of my favorite tracks, but musically, it's just like having this be in here and feel so kind of different and almost nostalgic in a way, like directly like locally influenced. I think it's really cool.
It is like a very nostalgic, and probably for people like us more than anyone else.
Yeah,
right. It is like a very nostalgic, like, oh, this is what Chicago sounded like in 2015, 2016.
Yeah,
you know,
totally. And he's turning, I think, 24 this year, so I think that's a pretty impressive to be able to capture that and convey it so well is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I definitely think considering like his age, like not his career necessarily, because I think like he has. I haven't gone back and listened. Sorry if you're hearing this, KingTrey. I'm sorry about this. I haven't gone back and listened to the rest of his catalog yet, but it looks like he's been doing the work to get to this level. But still, to be no matter what, like getting to it at this age is fucking incredible, right? So I can see why this album just has like a confidence and a vision that like I think is rare among like artists his age. I think it's not an accident that like a lot of the local artists, smaller artists, underground artists, whatever you want to call them, like all the ones that do stick out to me are people like Bruiser Wolf or Shaw Calhoun, who are men in their late 30s, who are like people who have clearly spent a lot of time like with these ideas and with these crafts and like refining them, right?
Yeah.
I think like being able to get like that level of refinement from someone who still has that youthful vigor, I think is exciting. I think this project for me, I think is ultimately a little bit more exciting than it is satisfying, if that makes sense.
I get it. What you were saying about that confidence, I think, is part of the reason I tend to give a lot of the skits on this a bit of a pass.
Yeah, the skits didn't bother me too much. To build up for everything, the skits didn't bother.
Yeah, it like plays into the identity of the album a little bit. At the same time, it's like it starts out a little bit like grander. There's a little bit more of that kind of like braggadocious feeling that comes across, but then you get a little more vulnerable. You get into Black Kid in Glenview. You get into even stuff like ETHS, Evanston Township High School, shout out. Yeah, just like stuff like that, where you start to get a little bit more of those behind the curtain kind of feelings, and I think that's kind of an interesting way to go about it, where it's like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing it big. This is my big album. By the way, here's all this stuff that now I'm like taking into account, and I'm like sharing with you, the listener, now that we've developed a bit of a rapport.
Yeah, no, they're definitely. No, finish, Purvis.
Oh, I was gonna say like the people that he brought in seems like it actually is people that's very close to him. So it could be like his best friend, it could be an old teacher, it could be anything. His favorite auntie. It feels like it's very connected to his life.
Yeah. It almost reminded me of the phone call on Acid Rap, the last track.
Yeah, and like this is interesting because he's asking like these people all the same question, like, what does God mean to you?
It's what does God have in store for you?
Yeah, what does God have in store for you, right? And yeah, I think it's a really effective framing device, and I think it's fun the way it doesn't make itself clear initially.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't know that's initially what's going to go on, but then, especially with the closing track, I think like it kind of all comes into focus towards the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
overall a solid project. That's
an incredibly solid project, an incredibly promising project. So like, what do we do we think that there are other like artists kind of in this lane? Because like it's no secret that like we have ties to lyrical and we have an affection for like the music that goes through that kind of sound, right? That's not this. This is not. Yeah, let's face it. Like, yeah, like would this guy work at Summer Smash? Probably, but just because of his age. Like, he's not actually like very artistically similar to any of the artists in that lane. So where do we think he would survive? You know, is there even room in a post-lyrical Lemonade Chicago for someone like KingTrey?
I think so.
I think so. I agree. I hope so. Yeah. But I think this is something to contend with. He's making music for Chicago that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah, for sure. I think the Juice WRLD Sonics can carry him. I think he can definitely build off of that if he wants to get a little poppier with it. But I see what you mean. Like, I could definitely see this appealing to like 2015 to 2018 Chicago. In just like the heaviest possible way, which makes sense because that's when he started making music.
Yeah, no, so it's a love. Yeah, it's a love letter to like my favorite local era of music by far, for sure, right?
Yeah,
you know, you could slot this right in with the Waters, and it would have no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have hope for him. I guess there's a level of cynical like skepticism I just have because of just the state of things, right? Like, I think KingTrey as an artist comes across the best in the album format, and we're just not in an album industry anymore. So I'm rooting for him because he's the kind of artist I want to see succeed. He's just not the kind of artist that often do, and that's like the tension I see.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with that now.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, with all that said, keep making cool stuff, though.
Yeah, no, keep making cool stuff. Obviously, like keep making the music you want to make. Just because, like, I think everyone should just be motivated by like the act of creation itself, and like this guy clearly has an ear for it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Like I am way more invested in him than I am with like half of like the other, like the lyrical Lemonade. And like I say that just because like they are symbolic of the sound I'm talking about. I don't think it has anything actually to do with that company. You know, I'm just using it as like a shorthand.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it seems like there's just, there's Maddox on one end and then there's KingTrey on the other. And it's like,
what is...
Yeah, but it's like, what is going to parse out? And like, I think if this guy wants to win hearts and minds, like, he just has to keep making projects like this that are like conceptually sound and full-throated experiences with well-written songs along the way.
I think he's doing well to trying to capture more of the 30-year-old demographic. I don't know what steps you have to take to get there, but I think
he's there. I think this. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree that is like where he's gonna find success. I would just maybe I would argue he's already there.
Did you play this for Isaac Purvis? Or you sent it to him?
No, I haven't sent it to him.
I would be very interested to hear what Isaac thinks.
Curious.
I'd be extremely interested to hear what Isaac thinks about this project, actually. Like, I should have sent it to Jeff, too. He would have been another one.
Speaking of Jeff, and speaking of festival season coming upon us,
true,
we're in luck. There's a tour happening, or a tour stop, I guess, happening May 22nd at Lincoln Hall.
Yeah. No, we'll be I totally intend on being there for this. I love Lincoln Hall. I love this project. I'm very into it. I cannot commit to anything in May right now, but I'm like 99% certain I'll be able to be here. Like,
I bought my ticket the other day, If you want to see at least 1/3 of the nobodies and without a mask, come to Lincoln Hall on May 22nd.
Yeah.
Get a ticket for this show. They're available. It's great.
I'll almost certainly be there. It's just I'm seeing this pop punk band on the 24th too at Saltshed. So it's a lot, but I want to be there for this one.
One thing to point out, when I was trying to buy my ticket, for anybody in the audience who might be interested, I went through Spotify to go to Lincoln Hall's website to buy it, and it didn't work at first, so I went to KingTrey's website. On KingTrey's website, it says that the show is at the Subterranean. The show is at Lincoln Hall. For whatever reason, that's out.
They're owned by the same people.
Ah, that might be it.
Yeah.
So they had the venue listed the same way too, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I just went to the Lincoln Hall site again later.
Yeah.
It worked.
They own Chubas too, and it's
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chubas came up on the thing. It was like a Chubas Entertainment, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, very much looking forward to it.
Very excited for it. And I would say for a grade, I'm definitely just A-. And to me, it's only an A- because I want to give him room to improve.
I feel the same way. I would say A- because I want to see what comes next. Album is strong, especially for
Somewhat
a rising artist. It like we said, it does have some slower points or some points that are not the most distinct, but some of the greatest artists that we champion on the show are like that. So, that's not necessarily a fault. It's just put it up to like human attention span even.
Yeah.
All right.
Same thing. A-, B+.
Yeah. Yeah. Very satisfied. Just more excited for the future than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Shall we do our recommendations and then get out of here, boys?
Let's do it.
All right. Who wants to start us off?
I'm ready. Screw it.
Go do it.
For it.
J. Cole has been doing the blogs. I've been listening to J. Cole nonstop. I'm going to recommend The Cutoff off of KOD because I've been looking into the Kill Edward lore.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
All right. So the first song I want to recommend is a song I was listening to in anticipation of the show I went to last night. It is a classic track, and yet he did perform it live, and it was just hit super hard, and that's $25. Danny Brown featuring Purity Ring off Old. Just, fantastic. And so weird they dropped Old 12 years ago. Anyway.
That's old now.
No.
You're old.
I hate you. I fucking hate you.
There's the video off.
Kill the podcast. Kill the stream.
Oh, it's me.
It is your turn, yes.
My first one's going to be a song in anticipation of a show I'm seeing in June at the House of Blues. The song Dead Weight by the band Paris. I've seen Paris once. It was an unfortunate, like an unscheduled acoustic performance because their drummer hurt his finger or got part of his finger cut off and had to have it reattached. So fun stuff.
Yikes.
So that they, instead of doing their full set show in St. Louis, when my girl and I went down, had to adapt it and make it an acoustic set. So I've seen it acoustic. I've listened to the recording plenty of times. Very excited to hear this project and other projects in like a full electric setting.
Awesome. Yeah.
For my second one, then, I've been having a crazy Gunna phase. I have no idea why. He has one of the best flows. I don't care. Him and Smino have some of the best flows.
I just don't.
Anyway.
That sounds disrespectful to Smino.
Absolutely not. But I'm going to recommend Nasty Girls on Camera. It is an excellent, great song.
Jesus. Okay. All right. That song, it was recommended as an addition to my Bangers and Strictly Bangers playlist. And it fits. It's an older song. It's by an artist who came up a ton in this episode. And I held back saying spoilers for later in an effort to maintain an air of mystery. But this is undeniably one of the best hip-hop songs ever made. I'm recommending Till I Collapse by Eminem and Nate Dogg.
Let's go.
That song goes
Throwback. Dude.
so fucking hard.
That song goes hard today.
Yeah, no, that song. It's the only song that goes as hard as Yeah Glow.
It's 21 years old this year.
Dude, it's a very good song. Purvis, do you know the song Till I Collapse?
Till the roof comes up, till the lights go out, till my leg give out. Hell yeah, dude. R.I.P. Nate Dogg, man.
Dude, Nate Dogg was fucking sick.
Me again.
Yeah.
I'm going Fallout. Lyrical Lemonade, Gus Dapperton, Lil Yachty, Joey Badass. Underrated song off this project. I really enjoy the video, and it put me on Gus Dapperton, who has an insane, unique voice, and I'm looking forward to listening to more of their music.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that has been the show, everybody. No idea what next week will be. Probably about Women's Month. Still got to do that. So.
Still got to do that.
Still got to do that. And next week's the last week in March. So. Seems that our fate is sealed. Anyway.
Make it happen.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast, everybody. And we are gone. Support your local musicians. Good night.